Right. Uh, I will go through how Salesforce CI/CD can be done with GitLab. Um, Salesforce has given DevOps Center, but they are only supporting with GitHub. So even though they delivered GitHub with the DevOps Center back in 2021, but they haven't really given the GitLab support since then. So what I did was I created some pipelines in CA in GitLab, and so uh, I'm able to run the deployments through GitLab. So now if you see here, in the setup that I have done, so I created multiple Salesforce arcs, so CI/CD dev, CI/CD QA, CI/CD UAT, and CI/CD prod. And so basically these will act as a landscape. And I have created this repo. On this repo, basically I created multiple branches and pulled some source code. And so this one has all the changes. So now let's assume that there is a requirement. We wanted to, delete some custom field, and we need to add some, uh, make some changes to a case, and maybe make some changes to case layout, and we need to deploy. Typical Salesforce requirement. What I did, I already created a merge request. Uh, so if you see here, uh, there is a merge request that I created. Okay, so this CI/CD4 branch, and it is trying to deploy some changes to development system. But because of the pipelines that I created, as soon as a merge request is created, it will run some validations against the dev arc. So I tried to deploy some changes, and so those failed. And you can see here, basically it failed because of some custom page layout. So there are some quick actions that are not configured properly, and there is another subtype field that I already deleted, and I did not take care of those earlier. So now that's the reason it is failing. And also, if we go back to the merge request one more time, so the merge request changes. So here you can see I try to delete another custom field, and the layout changes, and some test class changes that I wanted to do. And so because of that validation issue, so I have to make one more commit. And so now I'm going to create a commit and send these changes. So from CI/CD4, so I try to send additional changes. Now if we go back to the job, so that should automatically start the job that is running now. Now if you see this job, and so this job, basically what it is doing, so it is taking some Salesforce CLI image, and it is going to now once it takes Salesforce image, it will have access to all the Salesforce CLI commands, and it can deploy the changes, and it can do code analyzer and all that stuff. The main thing with Salesforce deployments, we need incremental changes. So unlike other applications, so if we take the full deployment, it will take full package deployment. It will take a lot of time, and that's why from the diff we need to take the changes, and now so we need to figure out the deltas, and so I wrote some scripts to find the deltas and run the analyzer and making sure everything is working fine. So right now it is running analyzer. Once the analyzer is completed, now it is able to log into the dev arc, one of those CI/CD arcs that I created. Now it is doing the validation. So, and also, yeah, so this one is successfully completed now. And now if you see here, basically if we see the changed sources, so basically it should show what are all the changes that are changed. So now this is the package.xml. If you open here, so basically we made some changes to the classes, and also we made some changes to page layout, so it is able to determine that one. So now going back to the job, so we also see so if at all for the destructive changes, because I deleted a field. Now if you see here, so it basically says, okay, hey, I'm trying to delete a field. So now again going back to the job, and since it has some Apex class, it also does code analyzer. So basically it runs, it ran all those test classes. I mean, not running the test classes. It basically scans through the test classes and see if there are any severity issues. If you see, there are no level 2 or level 1 um, issues, but there are some level 3, level 4 issues. So now, I mean, this is all we can drill down based on these criticality and all. So I mean, if this will be very handy for any test failure, I mean, syntax issues and PMD rules to check all that stuff. Now going back, I mean, that's the validation is successful. Now once the validation is successful, basically the dev lead can go in and approve that merge request. Now if you see here, basically we can approve the merge. Once it approves the merge, now the changes are from CACD4 branch to develop branch. So they made it to the develop branch. Now, as soon as some changes are made it to the develop branch, now the task is to send those changes into that develop arc. So again, another pipeline is running, and this pipeline, again, what it does, so it is trying to deploy the changes to the dev arc. Again, it is going to go through that uh, Salesforce CLI commands. Basically, this time it won't do the analyzer part. It will still need to get the deltas and take those deltas and apply the changes to the dev arc this time. Now, if we go back here, so let's me launch that CACD. This is the dev arc. Go back to the arc. So I mean, basically, I did not change the time zone, so now it is 9:41 my time and 7:41 the Pacific time, and the deployment is successful. Now, if we go back to the job, and the job says successful. I mean, obviously, the deltas and those things we should be able to see, and the deploy result is also there, so we can see the changes, and also the release notes are there on the artifacts. So the other thing that I did to see these things easily, now if I go back to the repo, on the repo I created some tags. So now you see this deployed dev, and this tags for 2 minutes ago it happened, and it basically has all the information about those pipelines and all. And here you will see what are the changes that we did. basically we are trying to make some modifications to Apex classes, and we made some changes to the layouts. I mean, those are the metadata changes. Now the deleted metadata. So basically now if you see, basically there is this potential uh, liability, so that field is deleted. Now let's go back to the dev system, and we see that there is this change came in, and there are about 7 components. Now if we go back and see that case object, and that potential field won't be there anymore. Again, now if we go back to these page layouts, obviously those page layouts are updated at 7:41, so that is the deployment time. Now same thing, I mean, now the thing is the dev deployment is successful. What we can do, maybe we can proceed, when we do the unit testing and everything is fine. Now we can go back to the so now it's time to deploy the same changes to maybe the QA arc. So for QA arc, what we can do, I mean, we go back, we know the first change is successful. We can go back to this commit, and here what we can do, we can say cherry pick. So now we say, hey, take those same changes, apply it to QA branch. So that's what we are saying. So now we create a new merge request. When we create this new merge request, again, so this one is going to take some, I mean, because we are doing some cherry pick, it creates runtime a branch from QA, and so we are saying, okay, let's go create that change. And now if you see the changes, so the changes are pretty much same changes, basically that potential field and page layouts and all the classes. So now we don't need to do anything. We are basically taking the same merge commit, and we are trying to, we were able to this is all Git functionality. So basically GitLab gives all of this, and now we got that commit, I mean merge commit going on. Now if you see, again going back to that merge commit, again the same pipelines will be running. Now you see this pipeline, so it is running. So now again same stuff, so it is running the validation against the arg. When everything is complete, it will write the artifacts, and maybe we should be able to do that, I mean see the tags and all. So while it is running, so since we know the changes are fine, what I'm going to do, so I create another commit to UAT, take that this commit, close commit, and take cherry pick. Now I can create to so UAT also. So what I'm going to do, so basically these changes will be deployed to UAT system, and under pipeline, what we can say, so set to auto merge, so that way it will merge the changes to UAT branch. Now we are going to merge this. So now if you go back to the jobs here, so 2 jobs must be running, and one is validating UAT, and this QA one is already completed. Now as soon as it's completed, now since we merge the commit, uh, it started deployment to QA system. Now yeah, let's go back. I mean, this one pretty much same stuff. So we can see all those changes, whatever it is trying to deploy, code analyzer, all that same stuff. And on the code analyzer, we can control if there are more errors. So we should be able to stop the pipelines. And I mean, that way we don't introduce a lot of problems to the landscape. And yeah, now let's go back to UAT system. CT. I mean QA, we should have some changes, at least validated changes. So 748 deployment completed again. So the case object should have, I mean the field should have gone. Yeah, that field is gone. 748 page loads are updated. Now let's actually go to UAT and see. So while that is running, let's see where are we at jobs. So the deployment is actually running right now. If we are quick now, so that is I think this is the deployment. Maybe there should be one validation complete. Yeah, validation is successful. Deployment is not done. Now if we go back to case and the fields, yeah, this field is still there. So as soon as the deployment is complete, so it is I mean usually it takes about 1 hour, 1 minute 40 seconds. So then the deployment, yeah, deployment is successful. Now if you go back to the org and if we just try to reload the page and look for this potential field, so that's gone. And the layouts have been updated at 7:49. I mean it's 9:49. And so now the thing is, on the job side, so no merge requests are open and the jobs are all successful. So up to UAT we are done. So now the next thing is we want to create a let's say all ready for production, and now we will create one more thing. And let's go back to that merge commit and we'll pick that merge cherry pick. So that is the development one. 4 minutes ago we'll do the cherry pick one more time, and this time we are going to do it for main. With the main, what I did, so basically we don't want the changes directly to be deployed to main production system. I introduced manual deployment. So now basically the changes are same. 4, 4, 8, 9 changes, the field will be deleted from production system, and create that merge request, and immediately the pipelines will trigger. So the first thing is for production system, so first we are doing that validation. Once we do the validation, as soon as we create commit to the main, I will do the validation one more time just to make sure everything is fine, and that will enable quick deploy. And when we are hitting that I mean last pipeline, so that will take us to the deployment completion. So now while it is running, so I will also launch that production arc. Yeah, so So it is still, I mean, just completed the deltas, and it is doing the validation against production system. And it logged into production system, validated the changes against production, and everything is complete. Now if we go back to production system, this production, let me make sure I have on production. So far just the validation should be completed, no deployments yet. So now basically it got the validation, and we see quick deploy is also enabled. Now, I mean, I haven't merged the changes to the main yet. So what I will be doing, so I will go and commit the changes to the main. So basically I will approve that merge request. So if I go back, and this is going to main, and the changes are validated, I should be able to merge the changes. Now, I mean, intentionally, I'm not deploying any changes as soon as the merge happens. I'm doing one more validation to production system. I mean, this is just to make sure everything is safe. I mean, what I can also, well, I could have done. So basically, when the validation is done against, I mean, the main branch, I mean, when the PR is created, I should not enable the quick deploy. But since I'm validating, running all the tests, it is enabling quick deploy. And when I mean, it is expected that no one is going to go into the arc and do the quick deploy, because I'm giving all that options through the pipeline here. And now it is doing one more validation here, and it is waiting for the runner to be available, and it is able to, I mean, proceed further. So first it calculates the deltas. I mean, I'm using that SFTX Git delta, so a plugin to determine the deltas. Basically, from the source branch to target branch, what are the deltas? That's how it determined based on the merge request changes. Now, basically, it validates the changes, and so basically, it is saying, so there are some destructive changes also. Uh, So now going back to the arc. So now since we ran one more validation, so there should be another quick deploy enabled. So now we have two quick deploys. I mean, we don't need to do anything in production. Again, we are going back to the pipelines. So now if I see here, and merge request, that one, the last one to, yeah. So if we go back here, so there is this manual is available. So now we should be able to hit this manual. Now, I mean, only few people will have access to this one. Now they should be able to hit this run job, and that will potentially start the deployment and take that validation that was available through the quick deploy, and it reads that ID, and it will deploy the changes. And Yeah, so let's see. Yeah, so the changes are successfully authorized for production arc. So basically production. Yeah, so I mean job succeeded. Now if we go back to production system, if we reload this thing, and the deployment is successful and it removes all those quick deploys, and basically we were able to take the changes all the way to production. Now to see some things here, I mean I only showed the git tag, and if I reload the page, there will be multiple things here. So basically since we deployed to QA, so what are the changes that we deployed to QA, and since we deployed to UAT, what are the changes we deployed to UAT, and what are the changes we deployed to production. So all of that is already available. I mean if we want to track it back, it is always available. I mean especially this release one, uh, if we go back, so on the release tags here, and we can see all the releases that happens over the time, and so here basically it will show okay the test classes, and so one custom field was deleted, and what is the validation quick apply that enable that validation. All the stuff we can easily track it, and if at all we want to go back to any of those details also, I mean from the release itself we should be able to easily navigate. So what is the pipeline that is responsible, I mean you can see all that stuff, validation, quick apply, all that stuff. So that's pretty much how we can automate end-to-end CI/CD using GitLab. I mean, just to take a sneak peek how it is all done. If we go back to, I mean, that is the actual repo, Salesforce repo, and the actual CI/CD is happening on this repo. I mean, if you see here, there are some templates. So, and there are jobs. Basically, these are the jobs when a change is when a merge request is created, how what is responsible for triggering those pipelines and all. So here it is saying, so when the branch, if at all we are creating a merge request, and if the branch is to develop, and then we are saying okay, hey, run this validate um, job, uh, so passing these parameters and all, and the same thing with QA UAT main. So and for main, so we have two things basically, whenever a merge request is created and also whenever a commit is created. Because of these two reasons, production has a different pipelines. So same thing here, deployment, and when we create a merge request, when a commit is created onto the uh, develop branch, we are triggering a pipeline that is responsible for deployment. So same thing for QA, UAT, and main, all of this stuff. So now if we go back to the jobs, I mean jobs, I think we just looked at the jobs, and the templates are the ones. So here we'll say okay, some scripts need to fire, all that stuff. So basically some bootstrap shell scripts that is firing, and it is doing some deltas. So here there are these two delta shell script and execute shell script. So those are the main things that are responsible for running all these things. So now if you see here, these are the shell scripts, and so each shell script does different jobs. So basically if you want to uh, uh, find deltas, so this is where we are going to use this SGD plugin. So that is going to take from base branch to the head of the other branch, or maybe based on the PR or merge request. So it determines how to determine the deltas. And so this is the one that is using the JWT authentication to talk to the arg. So the way the dynamicity basically based on the environment, we will pass different variables. So those variables will have the arg authentication details, the JWT server key, consumer key, all that stuff, and that's how um, this will authenticate. And so yeah, so this is a simple thing based on the artifact, how whether we have changes or not. So that's how it determines. And so the main thing is the execute. I think this is the heart of all. And so this this does. I mean, when it is validation, what exactly it has to do. So basically, this is. So this is the SF command. If it is deploy, so basically it is going to do the deploy, and same thing here. So there should be yeah, SFBS product start deploy start, and so that's the one that is going to do the validation here. So the deploy arguments and all, so I'm framing based on those arguments. So it will frame the right way to pass those changes. So for the quick deploy again, so basically we want to take just the validation ID. With the validation ID, we pass to SF command, and SF command will take care of it here. Basically the deploy quick deploy, and all we are doing passing the job ID. So that job ID will take care of the rest. And finally the tags and all. So basically we're writing those tags, message tags and those from here. So basically there are some git commands that I'm going to fire, and so those will I mean from change data, it is going to get those metadata components that are being deployed, and so those will be returned to the git tag. So that's the final thing. So that's why all of those things are happening. And so this release thing, so this one is also has that git tag, and it will do 2 commits. So the git tags are mainly to capture the deployment states. Once we complete the deployment, next time to determine the deltas, we need to take it from there. So whatever the changes that are being added, so that's why that git tag is important. And the release tag is just to show, okay, what are all the changes that are deployed. Git tag is always going to be overwritten, whereas release tag is always going to be a brand new release tag. So that's how all that backend stuff happens. So yeah, so I mean, like that we can always automate all that stuff. I mean, technically I mean, these can be done very easily because Salesforce has all the CLI commands, and for the deltas, we can rely on some plugin, SCD Delta plugin. So that is very handy. And also for code analyzer, I'm using the Salesforce code analyzer basically. So that's the one I'm using. So that basically writes all that. HTML file, JSON file, all that, whatever we want to see basically. So that's how all of this can be automated using GitLab.